What exactly happened to one simple sentence can make thousands of armies suddenly silent? Many initially thought that this was just an ordinary moment, just a short interaction as it often happened before. But this time it feels different. There was a pause. There's an unusual tone. And there was a strange feeling that instantly spread among the fans as soon as the words were said. It all started with a moment that was almost missed. No big announcements, no dramatic highlights, not even accompanied by exaggerated expressions. Jungkook just stared at Taehyung for a moment, as if weighing something in his mind, then said one sentence that sounded calm, but full of meaning. A sentence that for some sounds simple, but for those who followed the dynamics of the two's relationship from the beginning, the sentence was like a small clue that opened a big door full of questions. Why did Jungkook just say that now? Why did Taehyung, and why in a tone that feels so honest? The sensitive army instantly realized there was a stifled emotion behind those words. It is not emotions that explode, but rather those that are most difficult to hide, honesty that finally comes out after a long period of hiding. Some fans even claim to have to replay the moment, just to make sure they didn't get the point wrong. Taehyung's reaction did not go unnoticed either. No long answers, no dramatic responses. It was precisely that momentary silence that made the atmosphere heavier. His gaze, his faint smile, and his way of breathing seemed to be an unspoken answer. It was as if there was an understanding between them that did not need to be explained to anyone. And that's where ARMY really falls silent, because sometimes what touches most is not what is said, but what is felt. Since that moment, various speculations have sprung up. Is this a sign of change in their relationship? Or is it a small confession that has been deliberately kept away from the spotlight? Many called Jungkook's line deeper than usual, not because of his choice of words, but because of his timing and courage to say them. Clearly, that one sentence had left a strong emotional imprint, not only for Taehyung, but also for the ARMY who have watched their journey. The question continues to revolve in the minds of fans, even after the moment has passed. Many realize that Jungkook is not the type who easily expresses his feelings openly, especially with a choice of words that is so straightforward but feels heavy. Precisely for this reason, the sentence is considered special. It's as if Jungkook has finally chosen to no longer hide what has only been seen through small gestures, discreet attention, and togetherness that often escapes the camera. Some ARMY began to associate this moment with small pieces of the past. A gaze that lasts too long, a smile that comes on involuntarily, or a protective attitude that is often taken for granted are coincidences. Now, all of that feels like a clue that's slowly finding its place. It was as if that one sentence was the key that made many of the pieces finally composed, even though the picture was not yet completely clear. What makes the atmosphere even more emotional is the timing. At a time when many people think their relationship is going on as usual, it is precisely this simple recognition that appears without warning. No dramatization, no intention to create a sensation. And maybe that's what makes the impact so powerful. Honesty that comes out of the blue is often much more jarring than a big planned statement. Taehyung himself seemed to remain calm, but the small change in his expression could not be ignored. There is a different warmth, there is a sense of security that seems to be present just like that. For ARMY, it was enough to trigger a wave of emotions. Many admitted to feeling mixed up, happy, excited, and a little confused, because this moment felt too real for just a casual interaction. Now, that moment continues to be talked about, replayed, and analyzed. Not in search of sensations per se, but because there is a feeling that something has changed, even if it is not spoken directly. And maybe that's the beauty of that phrase. He did not give a definite answer, but left a feeling that is difficult to forget. Because sometimes, what shakes the most is not a big confession, but the courage to tell the truth. Even if only in one simple sentence, the conversation didn't stop overnight. As time passed, the moment actually felt stronger echoes. Many soldiers admitted that they only really felt the impact after thinking about it calmly again. Some noticed the vibration in Jungkook's voice. Others caught a small breath pause before the sentence was uttered. The fine details that were previously missed now feel like deliberately exaggerated emotional cues, but that's precisely why they feel so sincere. Some fans even said that this was the first time Jungkook had sounded that honest in front of Taehyung, without a layer of joking or a distracting smile. The sentence does not sound like a statement that others want to hear, but something that is intended for only one person. And perhaps that is the reason why many feel as if they are witnessing a moment too personal, too intimate, until the reaction that arises is not screaming or euphoria, but silence. Interestingly, after that moment passed, the attitude of the two actually looked calmer. No attempt to explain, no clarification. As if they both agreed that what is happening does not need to be translated with additional words. This attitude actually reinforces the feeling that the sentence is not just spontaneity, but something that has been stored for a long time and has finally found the right time to come out. ARMY was divided between curiosity and emotion. There are those who hope that there will be a further explanation. There are those who feel that this moment is precisely beautiful because it is left as it is. Without labels, without definitions, only feelings are allowed to flow. In a fast-paced, thrill-filled world, this kind of silence feels rare, and that's exactly what makes it tick. Until now, that one sentence is still talked about, not because of the controversy, but because of the emotion. Because he opens up space for imagination, memories, and feelings that have been stored only in the hearts of fans. And perhaps, unwittingly, Jungkook has proved that sometimes, one sentence spoken honestly can speak much louder than 1,000 words spoken on purpose.